Reon Nolan. We're going to have a chat to him shortly. Reon joins us from on the podcast as someone that knows only too well what it means to deal with adversity. He's got from a background of extremely difficult upbringing. He has rebuilt his life to compete as an elite cyclist, and he's done lots of long distance cycle missions. So I want to talk to about sort of that and how he does that, and then also going to share with us what it takes to go long and complete the Waka.
So it's great pleasure to have Reon here. Reon, welcome to our show.
Yeah, right. Thanks, boys.
Now, Reon, before we get carried away here, mate, great to have you. Thank you so much for coming on. We've got you in here. We're going to talk Waka 100 miler because we know you're chomping at the bit to do that. You've got an absolute incredible story. We'll touch on that a little bit. Richard will touch on that, but I'd love to sit down with you at some stage, mate, and do a full hour and a half podcast or something with you, buddy, and really cover off your whole story and your cycling and your past, because it's absolutely one of the most inspiring stories ever.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Look forward to it.
Yeah, good stuff. What are you up to next week, Reon?
Next week?
Sign him up now. Sign him up now.
Sorry, I've got the Waka 100 to do, brother.
Yeah, no, good stuff. Hey, Reon, just briefly, as Angus has just mentioned, tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get into cycling, and who were your key influences to help you, support you get into that?
Yeah, massive question. I could speak an hour just on that. I think, real fastly, I think the guy who first got me on a bike was a guy I met in prison, actually. He was an inmate, and he got out, changed his life around. And then he got me out of prison to his rehabilitation centre that he was working in. And then he did a charity bike ride from Queenstown to Christchurch to raise money for victim support. His name was Jeff Cooper. He's passed away now, legend. And we rode our mountain bikes. I've never ridden a bike before. So, jail, prison, foster home, real nasty life. And now he has like 7 inmates on mountain bikes riding from Queenstown every day to raise money for victim support. And I thought it was the most amazing thing that I've ever done and felt on a bike. And just it was a real special moment in my life. So Jeff got me on a bike and just told me to keep riding. And then the other group that I'll mention is the first. I call them the Medbury bunch. They used to meet there at 10 o'clock on Wednesdays, and they rode past me at Mochakarara. When I was riding by myself, this is 6 months in of my first ride when I was like 26 years old, never been on a bike. And they told me to jump on the back of their bunch, and they got my phone number, and these are some really amazing females and males, and they kind of nursed me and became almost my parents and positive role models in my life. And taught me how to eat, ride a bike, change gears, don't wear ankle socks, all those types of things. It was pretty epic, eh? And so they became my race every Wednesday, and they used to kick my butt. And then I slowly started getting better and better. And I guess to top that off, it would have to be like getting to know Hayden Ralston. He was my third coach, my final coach, and getting to know him personally, and how he had the belief in me and said that I can get on the podium in Tour of Southland. And then getting me there numerous times, for him to have the belief in me, and for me to like trust another human being, and for it to happen, probably some of the biggest influences. There's been many. My peers, all the race people that I race, I've had heaps. I could go on for years about that.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. So we're going to talk today about the 100 miler, and that also doesn't just go across the 100 miler, it also across all events. These are endurance events, and people are challenging themselves to their own level, be it the 25, 50 or 100K or the 100 miler. So you've done a few long rides in your time, up to 300Ks on the mountain bike, 400Ks solo, 500Ks on group rides, etc. That's actually, like, when you start thinking about those numbers, they're long bike rides. So completing the Waka 100 is a big job. Based on your experience of going long and thinking about sort of some key headings around mindset, which we've already talked a bit about, keen to get your thoughts on that, nutrition, race day, sort of how to approach that, training, some lights around for the 100 milers, and what about the bike? Keen to sort of get some sort of bullet points from you for a start. So let's just start from the top, and the bike. What do we need to think about in terms of getting ourselves sorted so we're going to have a good day in regards to our bike?
Yeah, that's easy for me. And I've learned the hard way many a times, because I had no idea about bikes, gears, anything. And to really simplify it down and give you some bullet points, I believe your bike should be booked into the shop for you to have at home 2 weeks before the event to get the bottom bracket looked out, bearings in the wheels checked out, new tires, new chain, cassette, chain ring, cables, new cables. And why I say 2 weeks before is one, to give the bike shop a bit of time to either order stuff in, but also so you don't, there's a list of people with bikes that need to be fixed for. So book your bike in, get your bike going 100%. Cool. That's the first thing. So many times I've turned up to races that I've been training so hard for. This is when I first started, and then the chain would like be jumping, skipping. My gears are out, the cable snaps. Just real like little mistakes that I made personally in my preparation that can. I put so many hours in training into, and I get to the event, and then I can't really perform to the best, that I can. There's little small things that all add up. So, get everything changed brand new, so you can perform the best that you can on the day with the legs that you've got.
Yeah, brilliant. No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
What about
the other thing? Even before the day,
okay.
I think going back kind of one step, it's like a saying that I've got is the joy is in the journey. So 6 months out from the event, it's not meant to be negative and, I have to go out and, go do a 5-hour ride or 4-hour ride or 3-hour, and then you come home and you've got wife and kids and you're all shitty and upset. And, that's like, it's just glum and negative. It's like, let's kind of get excited about this. This is fun. Your family, make good time for them, those types of things. So it's having a real good lifestyle balance. So your whole overall life, they call it like te whara tapa whā, is like, as well. And so it's like legs on a chair. If one leg's broken or bent, or if you just focus on your race and forget about the wife, kids, work, nutrition, whatever, it's going to be wobbly and not feel good. So it's about the joys in the journey, so find your own motto and like, and kind of live to it kind of thing. Kind of like race day, bro, is like, again, a few days before, you always should be eating healthy, lots of carbs, plenty of water, staying hydrated. For me, real simple foods, rice, pasta, good veggies, and plenty of water. Real simple, nothing. I can't even cook, but I can definitely do that. For the race as well, it's like the night before dinner is pretty important. I go with rice. Like same as Roller, he's like, pasta kind of clogs me up a little, so rice might be faster. It is faster for me to digest. I feel works well with me. So I don't change anything that I've been using for 6 months, or I don't try new things, the week of the race, the night before, or the day of the race. My breakfast will be real simple. It's rolled oats. I soak them the night before. I have a banana. I have some brown sugar on there. I have some protein yogurt on top. And why I have the protein yogurt is more to give it a little bit of flavor and like a dessert. So it makes me really want to eat it in the morning kind of thing. Gives me a bit of motivation because it's always quite, I still struggle to eat in the morning, like majorly, And I make sure I have a really good carbohydrate meal, complex carbohydrate, so slow release kind of thing. Everyone kind of knows that. And for this event here, like I won't like 150K, like elite, like fast pace race. That might take 3 hours or 3.5 hours, whatever it is, like road cycling. I would make the effort to get up 3 hours before, but that's if the race started at 10 a.m., or even 8 a.m. But for this race here, I wouldn't get up 3 hours before, me personally. I'll most probably, depending on where I'm staying, will get up an hour and a half before the race and have that meal. So it's kind of still digesting on the start line. And I will feel a little bit of discomfort when the race starts. And that's why I always have a water bottle with me. If I can't ingest carbohydrates straight away, like bars and gels or whatever I take in, I'll be sipping on water to at least something's kind of going in.
And that sets you up for the day, doesn't it? Sets you up for your ride because you're still actually digesting that as you start, because it is about fueling and eating as you go. So depending on a bit about your goals, but if you're going longer and you're going to be out there for hours and hours, actually don't overdo it. Like you don't have to be perfect on the start line. It just means that maybe your pace off the start line isn't so hot.
100%. Like the 400K ride I did, like on my 40th birthday, like I ate real food for, I don't even know how hours, like for I think 7 hours, real food. Like it's the only thing that fueled me, and because I couldn't actually drink carbohydrate mix. I'm not sure why on that day, but I just had to keep eating and eating and eating. And even when I wasn't hungry, I had to just keep snacking away, snacking away, snacking away. And then I came good in the last like 2 hours, you know, like, and I didn't have this like real sad crash or bonk or anything like that. That's my goal, is to not kind of, it's actually dangerous bonking. It's not really good for you. You know what I mean? So I never want to go there. So I just keep maintaining, you know, snacking on little half bars the whole day, basically.
Awesome. In terms, you talked a moment before about that chair and analogy, and actually making sure that you keep everything even. In terms of training, like any training advice that you'd give people in terms of training for long stuff like this, and what about recovery?
Like, to be honest, like my number one like advice would be like, get a coach, get someone you believe in, someone with like a track record, or coaches other people, you know, just someone that you like, well, it appeals to you. So then you can trust them to do your training plan, and then so it's not on you. You know what I mean? For this kind of event and going long, like, riders need to be doing a few 7-hour rides. Like, I've got to be careful here because I don't know anyone's medical history or, you know, backgrounds and stuff. But for me, like, I did an 8-hour ride 2 weeks ago. I did a 6-hour ride last weekend. This weekend I'll do another 7. So I'm schooled up on those kind of rides. I know what to expect. But this event, like, to put it in perspective, I did an 8-hour 10 ride with 3,500 meters of climbing. So there's still another 1,000 to go in the Waka 100 miler, and it was 8 hours 10. You know, so, and that's me. And I wasn't riding like maximum racing. I was riding like just steady state kind of thing, not pushing the limit. So the reality is, this ride is going to be over 9 to 10 hours for some people. So if we haven't even done a 7-hour ride, you know, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. We're going to set ourselves up for failure, or, you know. We need to have a good reality check at the facts. We're entering a pretty wicked event, and how amazing would it be to cross that line? Like, there's 140 plus people entered this race, and I'm just like, man, if all those people can finish this amazing event, what an achievement in their lives for them personally that they can take away. And, you know, it's pretty amazing. So that's why I've come on tonight, to kind of, I want to inspire those people. Let's do these little small things that all add up to get us to the finish line as a team, you know. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. And those big rides don't need to be all the time, do they? Like, but you do need to get out there and simulate what is going to happen. That's going to be close to what you're going to see on race day a couple of times, so 100%. You can learn it and practice it and figure it out, figure out your nutrition, your seat on your bike, etc.
And like this race could take me, I'm not sure. It might be 9 hours, might be 9.5. I'm not sure. Like, and I won't even go to 9 hour. Like, I know I can do 8, and that's probably as far as I'll go. And my mind will take over in the race, and I back myself to, you know, get in that moment and go, I've got an hour to go. I know I can do it. You know, so I challenge myself mentally in that zone. I wouldn't go and do 9 hours every second week or anything like that. I'd leave the race for that big thing. That's me personally, you know. But yeah, definitely 7, building up as well. You know, starting off for maybe a 5, 2 week, recover fully, talk to your coach, get feedback, then lift to your 7.5 or whatever you want to go for, you know. But definitely you need to know what it feels like. And also you need to, for me, I needed to learn the hard way, you know, like not eating enough. Oh, that's why I cracked. But if I reach that 7-hour limit and I look at what I've eaten and wow, I actually made it. And then now I know what I have to eat at that pace. You know, I learn through pain. So when I crack or feel bad or whatever, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that again. You know what I mean? I'm going to make sure through my own experiences. Yeah.
Brilliant. I've heard that it's going to be sunny on race day. Is that correct?
I'm not sure. I hope it's pissing down rain.
So why do you hope that? Come on.
No. I don't. I just think, I don't know, like, yeah, I love it. To be honest, I quite love a tough race. I love when things go wrong, and I don't mind, like, get a punch or my cleat comes out, or we turn the 160k race. It was like 7.5 hours. Like, there was 8 of us off the front. We all went the wrong way. So the guy in 9th place was now winning the race. This is 30k's in. He had like a 5-minute lead, and we went up this like 500-meter climb for no reason. There's 8 of us, and then this guy in 9th. So talk about resilience. You know what I mean? So he pulled out the race, but now he's winning. So it's kind of like I enjoy the journey. I enjoy the stuff that comes up. If it's raining or, you know, like, I don't know. It's just more of a challenge, you know. Like I mean, I don't want it to be raining, but if it is, it's like, okay, whoa. I hope everyone's got like tires that suit, you know, different sets of glove all around the course at the feed stations. You know, you got you know, so much goes on, you know.
And as John was saying before, is like actually prepare for that, figure out what could possibly go wrong, and what am I going to do about that, so then I can be more prepared and better chance of actually having a good crack at this and finishing this thing.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'll bring, even if it says it's going to be sunny on the day, like I'll be bringing a full wet, like three, 4 sets of gloves, different thicknesses, different rain jackets, breathable ones, not right if it's torrential rain. Like I'll bring it all up there. You know, I don't want to be stuck the night before and then the weather just changed drastically, you know. I'll bring wet weather tires up there as well and get them put on if that's the case, you know. I won't get stuck, kind of thing.
To try and hunt down and find them. So what is your race number? Because I'll probably be behind you. So if I could grab your drop bags or something like that, couldn't I, if I need it?
Oh, I don't even know. I'm not even sure. Like the key thing for me to keep me going in the race is like I've got a young fellow from work coming up with me, and he's going to be at one of the feed stations. You know, I think the light drop is at like 46, but I'll get a feed at 70, and I'm going to ditch my whole camelback bag. With everything in it lights, and I'll get a whole new bag with a different like set of things, and I'll have options there for me as well, you know. But you know, going back to that whole motivation thing, it's like I on my stem, there's so much to remember in these races, like times, stations, water, feeds, cutoff times. I'll have that on my bar and my stem. Sometimes I have the race map. I have the different hill points. I know the first one, the feed station's at 70k. I think it's at the top of the hill, or you know, roughly. I'll know how many big 20-minute climbs there are. I think there's 3. You know, I'll do a pretty, and that kind of keeps me going. That keeps me going in the race when I'm feeling, when I go shit. You know, something's going to happen to me. I might have 3 hours that I'm going so bad, but I'll look for something to get me to that next step. You know, and if I have a total shocker, then I turn to help someone else, and that makes me feel better. You know, my new goal now is to help this older person who's struggling to finish the race, and then I'm like, that's just what it is, you know.
That's right. Just refocus and reset and enjoy the challenge, and it makes for a good story at the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%.
So just to wrap up, are there any sort of what's like one of key, like you said, lots of great stuff, but is there any sort of key things you'd like people to take away from your experience and what you're most looking forward to, and some learning from your perspective?
Yeah, like I think like talk about like kind of motivation or getting out there. You know, it's raining, it's pretty bad weather lately. Like I have these, like I'm gonna try some different tire width or depths on the front of my tire. So I have these little things. Like today I've just got a new light. So like that motivates me. Now I've got this new glowworm light, New Zealand brand, boom. And I was like, so I just got this today, and so now I know I have to go out there and test this light. And so that's going to get me out there like next week and the week after to go and test this light. So that gives me motivation. When I get the new tires, it's giving me motivate these small goals that I know that I have to get ticked off before the big event. And that gives me motivation to kind of get out, to trial new nutrition as well. Like, and I know the other thing as well, just quickly, is that I know in the feed station, you got Cliff Bars, they got their gels, they got Red Bull, Coke. What I would do is I'll go and buy some of that stuff and I'll train on it now to get used to it, to see if my stomach actually is okay with that kind of stuff. So when I do get it on race day, I know it works, and I kind of back myself, or I'll have to carry all of my own stuff, you know. But yeah, I just think this is going to be a wicked fun event, and it's about the joys in the journey, you know. Eat heaps of food leading up to it. Don't worry about I'm powder weight, I want to get skinny, I need to see my veins on my leg. Been there, done that. That is a shit life. Excuse my language. You know, like let's have fun. Let's kind of get it done and tick it off. You know what I mean? And then support each other, have fun. You know.
The award for the most enthusiastic entrant to the Waka 100 miler goes to none other than Reon Nolan, because we are worlds apart. I sit here listening to some of us go to work every day and don't have 8 hours to train day in, day out. So people, if you're listening to this, Reon is giving the greatest examples, and by all means, this guy is just super enthusiastic and will share anything with you. Literally, Reon will share anything. But don't feel that because you can't do day after day after day like Reon that you're missing out or you're going to be anything less, right? So, Reon, lucky, thank you so much for sharing. I'm really disappointed that that you've gone online tonight with us and have taken your phone with you. Was hoping you'd left it out in the back, because you just mentioned your new glowworm light, and I see on your Insta story you walking around the house testing it, and I was talking in the background with Kate trying to get a copy of that video footage to put up, but unfortunately I can't share that. So check Reon out on Instagram if you want to see him testing his new glowworm light. When I say we're worlds apart, your enthusiasm, your excitement, you're ready to go for this thing. You're listing off where the feed zones are, where the climbs are. I'll tell you something right now, Reon. I printed out the course map the other day, started looking at it for about 3 seconds, scared the shit out of myself, screwed it up and threw it in the bin and thought, I don't need to look at that just yet.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And the other thing is, like, this is an all single track, right? So, and like that is so taxing on the body. So just quickly, like I wouldn't be going to do all, like I start some single track on my rides, then go and do 4 hours somewhere or 3 hours or whatever it is, like, and I lead up to more single track time towards the end. But I make sure my skills are okay. Like I'm not even good at single track, but I'm average, but I do have a good single track hit out, 3 or 4 hours in single track, maybe 3 weeks out. You know what I mean? And then I'm using the 6 hour and the 10 hour. I'm going to try and enter both actually. Down in Christchurch, no hills, and I wouldn't suggest doing that. But it's like the joys in the journey.
How can you enter both that run at the same time? How is that possible?
Well, I sent them bro. I sent them an email. I says, hey guys, I've got a weird question. Can I enter the 6 hour and the 10 hour? Try and race the 6 hour and then keep going to do the 10 hour. I haven't heard back. I think they might be like, this guy's a bit weird and he might end up in hospital. But yeah, it's interesting. That's a good event though.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So that's interesting, because I've been looking at the now this is actually an interesting quick topic. I've been looking at the 6 hour, and normally, as you know, I'm a participant there at the 6 hour, going round and round and round, normally a lap or two behind you. But that's like the week out. So that's a week out from the Waka 100, right? So what, for everybody else out there, your recommendation on such a taxing, like a 10-hour ride, 6 hour ride, that 1 week out? Don't do that. Don't do that. No, don't do that. That's for me. Like, I just have this thing, like, in my mind, I'll just be honest, like, I don't care. Like, in my goal, I'm like, if I can get on the podium in the 6 hour and then win the 10 hour, a week out, and then do the Waka 100 miler, and then I'm using that as training for a 300K with 10,000 meters of climbing. So for me, I would like to do averagely good in all 3 events. That for me is a win. You know what I mean? Right. But I would for like normal, people don't do that. That's this next level, But I wouldn't be doing like a major 6 hour race the week out from this kind of a week. No way. Definitely not.
Hey, Reon, I just want to say that you've got been voted as the best background of any podcast that we've had so far. So congratulations to that. That's fantastic.
We do actually have to remember he isn't the first to bring us this background, though, Richard. To be fair, actually, Kate debuted that background some podcasts ago. Reon, just before we go, mate, thank you very much for sharing everything with us tonight. We're certainly going to be talking more with you leading up to it, during, and of course afterwards. We look forward to see how you pull this off. But just quickly, just to explain, I suppose, a bit more the mentality of Reon Nolan. Richard, what did you do for your 40th birthday? Do you remember?
I was in Fiji, actually, eating cake.
Where? Reon, what did you do for your 40th birthday? What does one do to celebrate his 40th birthday?
Average speed of 32 kilometers an hour, 400 kilometers. I was quite proud of that. Quite proud.
Yeah. 400 kilometers, average speed, 32k an hour on your birthday. What better way to celebrate 40, eh?
Yeah. I probably needed to do that after cake and ice cream, mate.
Yeah. I actually did run into you the next day, didn't I, at the traffic lights? And you were you were certainly pleased to be on a motor vehicle, not on a push bike that day.
Yeah, it's another level, eh? Once you start going past 300, or even going past 200, it's another level. 300, 400, close to 5 is, you got to be eating food, eh? And prepare for that one. But it's cool, eh?
No, you go.
I just think, like, in these short elite races, I can use anger and negativity to race people to try and win the game of chess. But it's funny how in these long distance events that I use positivity. like, and it's the more I've spoken to my father more times in these longer. My father's passed away; he got murdered when I was 12. But I've spoken to my father more times in these long distance events. It's kind of like a tranquil, if that's the right word, moment after like 250k, 200k. And I use this positive energy for me to get me through these moments. It's real interesting, eh? And yeah, I just think I just brought that up. I'm not sure why, but it's just interesting, like the switch from a short, sharp, hard and fast, attacking, chase him down to, hey, let's just take our time and get through these moments. It's quite a surreal feeling, you know, crossing those zones after 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, you know. So get some positive stuff, guys, and start, you know, being positive about all this, I reckon.
Just before we go, I just want you to know, I'm just going to throw this little comment up on the screen here, and I'm not sure if you can see it there, but it says, Reon, what a guy. After listening to him, I just want to go ride my bike. I love his energy and enthusiasm. So, mate, as you set off to inspire people and do things, there it is right there, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Reon. Like I say, we'd love to sit down with you and do a Reon Nolan, This Is Your Life episode, because it's bloody interesting, that's for sure. But short term, thanks, mate, for joining us, and all the best for the miler.
Cool.
See you there.
Awesome. Thanks very much. Thanks, team.
See you, mate.
Awesome.
Thank you very much for tuning in, for watching, for listening, however you've done that. Until next time, enjoy the journey.